Okay, it really, really bothers me that the dudes in this graphic look pulled straight out of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, I truly hate this. I had to Google whether or not this was actually official artwork, and then I got even more annoyed when I found out that it was. I kind of just assumed that the article here used an AI thumbnail or fan art or something, but like, no, this is literally just Avatar TLA characters on a God of War cover. I fucking hate it. Okay, so a new God of War game shadow dropped while I was out of town, because what is this channel if not gaming news and updates several days after they happen, because the big stuff always happens while I'm out of town for some reason. It happened again. I was in Hollywood playing a flippin' punk rock show while you guys were slogging through a hacked out God of War cash grab. So at least one of us was having a good time. And on one hand, kudos to Sony for actually releasing a game for once, but on the other hand, it feels like everyone instantly forgot about this game after it dropped, so I'm not sure if it really counts as a point against the PS5 has no games meme. Respectfully, I'm gonna keep saying the PS5 has no games. I think it's a good meme. But oh goodness, dear viewer, it seems like Sons of Sparta has been kicking up a bunch of dirt from the controversy sandbox, mainly because of the fact that despite being called Sons of Sparta, plural, and having two characters with equal prominence on the box, and all the promotional material has two people on the front, and they put 1 to 2 player local co-op on the store page, yeah, the co-op isn't actually unlocked until after you beat the game solo, which is either false advertising on Sony's part or just a massive dick move. Now, whether or not this was false advertising seems to be a matter of point of view, because on one hand, they never explicitly referred to this game in the way that you would refer to games like It Takes Two or A Way Out. However, they did title the game Sons of Sparta, plural sons, and they did almost exclusively advertise it with 2 characters, and they did put those 2 characters in gameplay in the reveal trailer, and they did put local multiplayer on the store page, and they did shadow drop the game, so there wasn't any time for the actual situation to spread before the consumer bought it. So like, I kinda see the frustration here. And before you say something like, okay, just, breeze through the game solo and then unlock the co-op, easy peasy, because honestly, if the game wasn't that long, like if this was like a 2-3 hour beat 'em up, I wouldn't even see the issue here, but according to people who have actually tried to do that, the game is like a dozen hours long. So promoting the game the way that they did while locking co-op behind solo completion is a huge dick move. Like, this is mobile game levels of engagement cheesing. And the best part, apparently the game isn't even that good. You made people wait an eternity for a new God of War game, you teased them with remakes that are apparently still in early development, and then you finally end the God of War game drought with this? And it's rated T on top of that? I just noticed that. You can't even make it M rated? Who greenlit this? Like, how did this become the plan? And honestly, I don't even think this was conscious on Sony's part. I don't think Sony deliberately marketed the game in a misleading way, because that would imply that Sony is at all competent. Deceiving people requires some level of competency, and since Sony greenlit this thing in the first place, I think we can throw competency out the window. Doesn't change the fact that it happened, but at least you can now take some solace in the fact that Sony isn't smart enough to have duped you on purpose, although that does mean now you got duped by someone who wasn't even trying to dupe you, which, yikes. But anyways, you read the title of the video. The Sony fanboys have been pretty desperate for something Sony related to talk about recently, and now that they have a God of War game, they're eager to defend it in any way possible. So while a lot of people are reasonably annoyed at Sony for the way they handled this thing, there's also a bunch of Sony fanboys willing to run defensive plays like they're the retarded cousins of Bobby Wagner. So I'm gonna throw some screenshots up in front of you that were all in response to this tweet, so come along with me on this stupid journey, because it's been a hot minute since we had some good old-fashioned Sony pony salt. I hope this attitude carries into the rest of the year, because my god, things have been dry on this channel. I almost went back and re-reviewed Black Ops 7, so thank god I don't have to do that anymore. Jared Rhodes says, why should we pay for extra content in games? I don't want an incomplete game. What happened to unlocking content after completing the game? You guys get what you asked for and still complain. Y'all don't deserve games. Yes, because when I look at this box art, and this game description, and this promo art, I get the impression that the co-op is unlockable content and not a central part of the experience. That is definitely the impression that I get, you fucking dork. Take the Sony cock out of your mouth and then take another look at the situation before putting your stupid words on my feed. Yes, I blame you personally for the fact that this tweet appeared on my feed. Next comment. Tix4 says, why would you even want to play God of War as 2-player co-op? Play it solo like all the OG games, or go buy yourself a Switch if you're so obsessed with multiplayer. I love this argument. Like, oh, the other God of War games aren't co-op, so you can't criticize the co-op in this game. Like, nobody told them to make a co-op God of War game. No one even asked for that, but they chose to do it. You can't erase criticism of the co-op God of War game just because it's the first time there's been a co-op God of War game. It's like if EA announced a new Rock Band game, but this time around there's a saxophone and a trumpet controller, so all the ska heads go out and buy the new Rock Band game because they want to play the trumpet and the saxophone, but only after they buy the game do they learn that in order to unlock the sax and trumpet gameplay, they have to play drums for 12 hours. And then when the ska heads go on Twitter and they're like, hey, this is kind of bullshit, why'd you advertise the horn section if I can't play with the horn section? Then some EA cum guzzler runs up and punches them in the head and yells at them for buying a Rock Band game because the horn section's never been in a Rock Band game before. There's never been a horn set. Why'd you buy Rock Band for a horn section? Even though the horn section is the only reason the ska head bought the game in the first place. My point is that you can't dismiss criticism of a new feature on the grounds that the feature wasn't there before. That's not a defense. That's you being a corporate slave. Josh says, I don't think you can call that misleading when the feature is quite literally there, but just needs to be unlocked. Sure, it's a weird choice, but not misleading. Okay, so the feature being prominent in all the marketing and all the promotional material and there being no indication that you have to grind for 12 hours by yourself to unlock it isn't misleading? Like, I genuinely don't know what to say to you. That's like textbook misleading. Yes, you can't put a spotlight on a certain thing and rather explicitly sell the product off of that certain thing, but then turn around and be like, why'd you think you could have that thing when you bought the product, idiot? Like, no other product works like this. Why is it okay here? Skittle says, didn't we need to beat World at War campaign to unlock zombies? Yeah, that was also 17 years ago. Also, the zombies mode was not the selling point of World at War. The Zombies mode was not in any of the marketing for World at War. The Zombies mode was not portrayed as a prominent part of why you should buy the game. The original Zombies mode in World at War was just a bonus mode after completing the campaign. It wasn't until the Zombies mode blew up and became popular that Zombies became a selling point of Call of Duty, and coincidentally, that's also when they stopped locking it behind campaign completion. See how that works? Notice how you had to go all the way back to 2008 for an argument to defend this, and notice how it's not even an actual argument because the situation was entirely different. No one was buying World at War for the Zombies mode back in 2008, so it was fine for it to be locked behind something else. But then once people started expecting Zombies content from Call of Duty and buying the game for Zombies content, that requirement went away. It's always really telling when people have to go back almost 2 decades to find something that makes their favorite corporation look okay. Like, hey guys, don't criticize Sony because this completely unrelated thing happened back in 2008. Like, buddy, if the thing that they were doing didn't deserve criticism and you were like correct to be defending it and dismissing criticism, I would imagine you'd be able to explain why with modern arguments. No? Kai Canderson says, headline, new age gamers want everything handed to them like prepubescent pissants, and if they don't, they'll whine and cry and bitch like newborns that have never gotten a tit and they'll shit their pants. Fixed it for you. That was a really weird way to say you grew up with divorced parents. Dark Lord says, oh boo-hoo, I have to finish a game to play with friends, suck it up. But they very clearly sold the game based on the ability to finish it with friends or your desire to finish it with friends. Like, hey, I have this 2-seater bicycle for you and your girlfriend to ride, and then you buy it, but then I hand you a decree from the mayor that says you can't ride it with your girlfriend until you ride it by yourself for 12 hours first. Cause like, dude, I never said you could ride it together right away, ugh. Or how about this? I give you a baseball and 2 baseball gloves, and I tell you to go play catch. But then when you try to hand your buddy the second glove, I'm like, dude, I didn't say you play catch with a person. You gotta throw the ball at the wall a bunch of times first. Ugh, stop making these assumptions, man, you doofus. Dark Lexu says, well, they always intend to experience the God of War in single player. Co-op would be a plus. I understand, though, why people would think that, but they never said it had co-op. First of all, they did say it has co-op. There's 2 players in some of the gameplay in the trailer, and they put 1 to 2 player co-op on the store page. They did say it was co-op. But second of all, and more importantly, you say they always intended you to experience God of War in single player. Okay, so why did they make the game co-op at all? Like, they chose to enter the co-op realm with this game. You can't now dismiss criticism by saying, well, God of War is a single-player franchise. They chose to change that. They chose to make a God of War game with co-op. You can't now dismiss criticism of the co-op just because the other games aren't co-op. The game doesn't suddenly stop being co-op just because it's the first time the series has been co-op. This doesn't make sense. Teddy says, it's funny because this has been a thing for decades. Little Chud me seeing multiplayer on the Simpsons Hit and Run box, and oh, it's just the shitty Micro Machines minigame, okay. Yes, because the bonus mode in Simpsons Hit and Run is completely the same as a game that portrays itself as being a co-op experience from the marketing material right down to the 2 co-op characters being on almost every piece of promotional art. Sony's behavior is okay because of the Simpsons Hit and Run. Remember what I said about having to rewind the clock to find justification for your favorite corporation doing something? Like, dude, Sony's doing something that's shitty in 2026. Why are you going back to a game from 2003 to justify it? Either defend it now or fucking beat it. John Smith says, they never mentioned co-op. Are you high? Austin Alleman says, this could easily be fixed by a freaking patch. People are overreacting. Yeah, guys, don't criticize the thing because it could be fixed in the future. Also, you literally use the word fix here, meaning you acknowledge that it's a problem that needs fixing, but people are overreacting for noticing it. One more. Silver Cat says, nothing is happening here. Just stop using push Xbox clown square as a source. So nothing's happening in a thread full of the thing happening, on a website full of the thing happening. None of it's happening because Xbox fans exist. Nothing's happening, and Sony did nothing wrong because, you know, Xbox fans exist. Gosh, like, you guys aren't even trying anymore. You aren't even trying anymore. This is amazing. Man, I just don't get how people can be this eager to defend Sony. Like, it really is like Stockholm Syndrome at this point. Sony deprives you of new first-party content for so long that it becomes an industry-wide meme that you don't have games. And this is after they deliberately take advantage of you with the price hikes and the pointless remasters, and it's all being done in the name of supporting their first-party IP. And then they finally do release a game that is part of the first-party IP, and not only is it a total cash grab, but it's also very misleadingly advertised, and now that you've been so conditioned into accepting anything they do with their first-party IP on it, your gut reaction is to defend it. It's truly amazing. No other company employs this strategy. Like, what's wrong with criticizing the thing so it doesn't happen again, or so that you get better products? Are we really just dying on the shitty God of War not really co-op hill here? You know you're just giving Sony permission to do whatever they want now, right? Like, God. Fucking Doofus Club time. The Gamer 1271 Chris Voyage, Jake, Spider Monkey, 1994, Hillbilly, Vanilli, Vault Begins, 97, Hyperactive Turtle, Cards, Game of the Dead People, Nate Grimsey, Official Dregs. I ripped my ass open on the box set of Thundercats. That's a bummer. Google the Harpeggi. It's an amazing instrument. I'm not going to do that. Blast 1314, Mayo, Satsuna, Big 101. That's West of Rex, 10th I own. 6 Slick, Flick, Click, Click, Flicks on Slick, Flick, Flick, Clicks, Blu-ray discs. Delta 169, Bear Von Vodahom, Yuki Raku, Goji Fan 2005, Bullet 310 Char, AI Sloth, makes Microsoft, Kush, Good, Nixie Smile, to make the boys. Das Venice, stole my 9 dozen eggs, Joe, get 'em. Max Exclusivity 2 Gaming, It's a Hard Knock Life, Nice Dude, One Man Savage, No Pay Up, Vector, Vanilla, actually, Mechanical Resident, Sick Nick, Mad Fox, 94, Exchange Induction, Bear Brain, Stick Rider, Broken Crayon, Brow for the backing, Just Took a Knife, Tick, Wipe My Sweeney, Vaz, Dennis, Muskie, Big, wow, Club of Penguin, Jersey 6, Mold Theme, Royal Zerd, Oracle, Jimmy Chops, Master Killer, Tom Snorlax, and Onin 8718, but they said Hiker doesn't mean that many players. They just shared 1789, but if on duty, Jang Rising, and on for law, High Partial Mean, 8 also mate. Wow, Partial Mean 8, Volks Auto, Snake Eyes 327, MK2396E, X Machina Gamer, Firehouse 105, Tech Gaming, Slim Jim, Lord Bowser the Second, Joe Laughs, Dust in the Moat, Galo, Good Old Lives and BZ Gamer, Justice Shepherd, Riggis Power, Diggs Abby, Xylophone, Doofus Mertz Academy, from the Steel Angel, High Guard, Low Guard, you the devs, Out Guard, Cyrus 671, 2 Dex 940. You were right, it was E. Wow, you're so smart, Joe. Thank you. Creed Warrior 23, Max the Chevs, Yap. Totally insane here, your box of Bad Dragons toys, Joe. I still don't get that one. Night of Cypher, ML04, Wolf of the Night, EKW, Steven Studios, Film, I can own Gaming, Dreek, Brown Thorns Game, Maganex 7, Emis, Mr. Spawning 03, is the kindly for Wyoming, Power Power, Donnie Weston, Gob Gonson, Rogue Witcher 919, Zach Thane, Hanging for Hire, Elden Wolf, Ross 6 Hole, Biogenesis, Mega Key, Scuffus Go, Ghost Toe, Ryusaki, Raptor 10, Auto 794, Blue Hook, One in Doubt, Face the Wind, Wake It Out, Mr. Techno Squeak, Jody Peace, Mega Win Gentleman, Gavin Seisman, Derek C. Kimmikins, I American Idiot, Harmsets, Other Gen, Oh No, Session Rin, Root 20 Weeks in the Wall 7, Retro Wannabe, wow, Westa, JMM, SG, Veg, Griffin, Ecker, and Allspec, Sal, There's No Tooth Fairy, that's it, getting the 2-2. Okay, that was a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday's was really bad. Real bad. That was better. What are you looking at, Toodles?